beautiful Kay Corinthian here. Who is Kay Corinthian? Well, she is a woman who, a very, very long time ago, ran away from home at the age of 14, became an emancipated minor at the age of 16. Basically, a person who chose to not make a lot of wise choices and had to learn a lot of stuff the hard way. And through all of that, I had little life experiences where I would realize something profound during that time that was profound to me, and I promised myself that I need to remember this. I need to remember this for the rest of my life. I need to remember this so later maybe I can share this with someone else, and maybe I can help them so they don't have to learn everything the hard way like I did. When I first ran away from home, I wasn't doing so well in school. I did continue to go to high school. I had already flunked my freshman year. What was supposed to be my sophomore year that I was repeating, I had a lot of credits to make up. I didn't really feel that great about myself, of course. But I also felt like everything and every choice that I was making wasn't for me. It was because I had to answer to a higher authority. Whether it was my parents, my stepmother, the principal of the school, my high school teacher, I felt like everything that I was doing was for them. And because I was in a place where I didn't feel loved and supported, I wanted to punish others by not doing what it was that I was supposed to be doing, not realizing that I was only hurting myself at the time. I had a teacher, Mr. Deagle Smith, in Ramona High School. He's a science teacher, and boy, did I give him a very, very hard time. I've always loved to love people, and I've always stood up for the underdog. And he kind of had this little thing in class where it reminded me of a substitute teacher, when you get a substitute teacher in your class and they kind of pick on that one student to show you that they mean business. But he wasn't a substitute teacher, and this would happen with at least one of the students in the class, and I didn't like it. So I would stick up for that student, and I would get him so frustrated he would start swearing. Poor guy. And that was during my freshman year. Then what was supposed to be my sophomore year, to see the look on his face when I came walking into his classroom, like, oh, here she is. And I was like, yeah, that's right, kind of thing. So fast forwarding this story a little bit, I ended up taking a biology class with him that I ended up getting an A on the final and an A in the class. And what had happened during that time was he had asked me, where's your homework? And I said, I didn't have time to do it. I had to do bills. And he's like, what do you mean you had to do bills? And we had a conversation, and he realized that I didn't have anyone to answer to but myself. And he said, hey, you know what? If I give you credit, like if you finish that homework and I give you credit for doing that homework with only taking so much off, will you do it? I said, sure, why not? And I really felt like somebody was giving me a chance in that moment. Like no one really took the time to have the conversation with me. No one understood what I was doing and what I was going through. And when he took that time to have that conversation with me, and he took that time to give me a chance, I wanted to give back to him. So I did it. And it felt good. And the more that I did, and the more self-esteem that it brought me, that's when I began to realize what is my motto today, that you are the one that has to live with you for the rest of your life. So make wise choices for you. that's where that came from. That moment in time when I realized, wait, I'm not doing this for him. I'm not doing this for the principal, for my parents. I'm doing this for me. I'm investing in me. And when I do that, it feels good. It makes me happy. It builds self-esteem. So as I continued through life, I wanted to remember this epiphany, and I wanted to share that epiphany, and that is my platform for Kay Corinthian. That's basically any story that I'm sharing about my past. My website, you can see it in my bio, and if you visit my website, you'll see a bunch of my life stories that I have shared. And the purpose of me making myself so vulnerable, being so honest, is in hope that I could share this with someone and it'll flip that switch in their brain, and they will start making wise choices for themselves, and they will be able to have that epiphany. And it's empowering. It gives you strength. It gives you strength to make wise choices for yourself. It is important to love you first. It's kind of like when you're on the airplane, and I'm sure some of you may have heard this philosophy before. You're on an airplane and the flight attendant is telling you that, place oxygen mask on yourself before you place it on others, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to do it, right? So that's the idea behind loving yourself first. So I just wanted to give you a little bit more of an in-depth look of who is Kay Corinthian. Who is this person that is saying, hey, subscribe to me? Who is this person that's, hey, follow me? Again, it's just me wanting to share my life's epiphanies, wanting to share some love, share some joy. It's all unconditional. It's one of my traits. I've always just been a person to love others unconditionally. Sometimes it's harder than other times because not everyone wants to receive that. I kind of obviously, like everyone else, has learned that the hard way. Like when you see someone and you just want to smile and say hi, and they look at you and they go, what are you looking at? What are you smiling at? Yeah, I've got it. I've gotten those responses. And personally speaking, it made me quieter. I didn't want to smile. I didn't want to make eye contact with strangers anymore. I didn't want to greet strangers anymore. And when I found myself working in customer service and I had the green light to be that person, people would ask me like, wow, you seem so genuine. You seem like you really care when you're working with customers and you greet them. And here's the secret. I do. I really do care. I finally get to be myself in that role. And it feels great and it feels wonderful, and people need more of that. And I need to remind myself to not put up that wall and take that wall down and show people unconditional love. On my grandmother's 90th birthday, everyone was gathered around her and they were asking her questions, about her past and what she remembered. And when it got to be my turn, I asked her, Grandma, if you could tell us all just one thing that in all of your years of experience that you feel is the most important thing, what would it be? I kind of expected, a story and a reason why, and yet what she said was so simplistic and yet so profound at the same time. And her response was, just love one another. And with everything that is going on in the world right now, with the pandemic, the riots, and everything else, I just want to pass on my grandmother's wise words. Just love one another. And remember, you are the one that has to live with you for the rest of your life. So make wise choices for you. Love you.